Amber J will take us through her presentation and really the experience she's gained. And at the end of that, we'll have some time for Q&A. So you can submit questions, and I will send you a note through the chat tool that says, get your questions ready. So just giving you a heads up. That's the way that's going to work. We'll be able to take some questions, and then you also have Amber J's contact information should we not get to your question before the hour ends and you want to follow up with her separately. So that's totally fine too. Okay, so talking about YouTube and talking about how your nonprofit can really leverage the power of the second largest search engine in the world. It's really amazing stuff, and I'm so glad to have somebody who's so qualified. Amber J. Lawson, for those of you who may not know, is the CEO of a company called Good Amplified, and they work with nonprofit organizations all the time. This is what she does, so she knows it inside and out. And fortunately for all of you, this is a treat. This will be a treat because Amber J is also a delightful personality. I'm a very boring person, but Amber J is, not to build you up too much, right? But she's really fabulous, and I think you'll all enjoy the presentation. She's also the founder of Comedy Gives Back. She's won an Emmy or two. There's a
I wish.
Have you won an Oscar?
Nominated.
Maybe an Oscar?
Yes. All of them, and he got.
So she's with us here today from Los Angeles, and she's going to share the experiences she's gained over the past couple of years on this. And I think everyone listening, I'm really looking forward to you being able to take some really good nuggets of information and be able to apply them to your organization. So that being said, I am going to say, Amber J, please, the floor is yours. And I will put myself on.
Wow. Well, happy Friday, everybody. And thank you so much, Amy, for bringing us into your world and, sharing the power of YouTube. My intention and goal of this conversation is that everybody on the phone walks away with tips and tricks of YouTube that you can implement today, right? There is, no hidden, no magic sauce that's about to occur. It's like roll up your sleeves, hard work. The good news is it's really fun work, and it can really make a huge impact in your mission and achieving your awareness and development goals. And especially reaching that millennial audience. And in my opinion, through the funnest way, through storytelling. So away we go. So yes, we are Good Amplified. We are the only YouTube MCN exclusively servicing nonprofits. I know that's probably a lot of jargon. Basically, we work exclusively with nonprofits to help build your audience through the content you're already creating and your future content strategies. It's like, why should I care about YouTube? I'm dealing with Facebook. I'm dealing with Twitter. I'm out saving the world in whatever my way is. But the fact is, YouTube can be that secret weapon that can amplify your efforts. And I think we see this time and time again. Before we came out as into the world in November, we were in stealth mode for a year, really talking to various nonprofits about their pain points. And a couple of the issues were, one, we can't reach millennials, and we're having this hard time fundraising in the millennial space. And we have this content, it goes on YouTube, and it gets 5 views. So what's the point of using YouTube when I only get 5 views? So we'll go into why this matters and how it can start working for you. One of the things that I think people kind of miss is that, just like Facebook, just like Twitter, YouTube is a social network. It just happens to be a video first social network. And it happens to be sitting on a pile of money. Can everybody see my pile of money? Are the slides moving? I see they only see good amplified slide. Is it working? Amy, can you see?
Hey, Amber J, I believe this not well focused. So pardon me for interrupting. I was just going to tell everybody if we had a little technical issue on my end. And so as a workaround, Amber J is sharing her desktop. But if you hover your mouse above the on the screen on the slide, you'll see a little icon that looks like a square with arrows pointing outward to each of the four corners. And if you do that, you can maximize your screen, which may make it a little bit more enjoyable, pleasurable user experience for you all. I hope that helps. Okay.
So we're
I'm
all
muted.
seeing the YouTube sitting on a pile of money. All right, yay, money.
Yay.
So just to give you some context, I have run digital networks for a long time globally and in the U.S. My last big corporate job was I ran all the content for AOL, and I was seeing all the studios both in New York and L.A. There was, 100 team members. We were creating all the original content, and I kind of had a aha moment in life where I was like, what am I just going to make another viral video, or I'm just going to do another brand deal? And so I said, how can I create awesome content, leverage technology in a global way, but have an impact? And so I went and created with two of my best friends, Comedy Gives Back, and we do big comedy events around the globe across platforms that raise money for different charities, which we're doing on television this year, which hasn't been announced. Top secret, don't tweet that out. So then in the midst of that, that's a lot of heavy lifting, right? Creating a big, if you think of like Red Nose Day, big initiative, Stand Up to Cancer, it's a lot of heavy lifting. And I was looking for a way to do good at scale. And, I've been working with YouTube since kind of day one. And, it is the second largest search engine on the planet. That is where 85% of millennials get their content. So to have a presence there is where scale happens, and hence why we created Good Amplified. But so I am a YouTube certified expert, which means I have passed all the tests at YouTube. They give you a certificate. It is actually very difficult, A, to get into the program, and B, to pass it. And we recertify every year so that we are up to date on all of the tips and tricks and new features and new workarounds that YouTube has to offer. And then specifically our niche in this space, because there's other, MCNs in the world, those are multi-channel networks who work with YouTubers, in various verticals, whether it's fashion or gaming or whatever. We're specifically focused on nonprofits, and why that's important is YouTube and Google offer certain tools for nonprofits, which we'll get into as we go down through this, that we are the beta testers for. So we get to try out the new features as they come out. People who are in our network get to work with them. And and so we're the experts in the nonprofit space and how to leverage the tools of YouTube. So, when we were in stealth mode, we were looking at what does the landscape look like? And people kept coming back to us with the landscape is shifting. Our normal donor base is no longer with us. We're looking to tap a younger audience. How can we engage with them, right? They're not charity focused in the traditional sense. They're more about causes and movements. How do we get involved with that cause and movement, convert them from maybe a one-time tweeter or passive activist into an ongoing supporter, advocate, and donor? You know, we always say in marketing, the most effective form of marketing is storytelling. And every organization has amazing stories to tell. And we think YouTube is the most effective platform to tell it on because, first of all, it is the number one online video platform, period. It is the second largest search engine on the planet. And I know we keep talking about this, but why that's important is, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, his daughter was diagnosed with a rare disease, and he Googled it, and nothing credible came up. And it wasn't like there weren't organizations out there specifically to help him and to service his need, but they didn't show up in search. And it was a missed opportunity for them to deliver on their mission. And that was a big aha moment in itself. The second piece of that is YouTube is owned by the number one search engine, Google, right? So by being optimized in YouTube, you are gaming Google AdWords. And I don't know if all of you know, but Google has a Google AdWords program for nonprofits where they do a grant of $10,000 and then up to $40,000 a month for AdWord buying, which can lead to that can help you also in your YouTube strategy. So these are the kind of things we all link together and things maybe you're already doing and or don't already know about to optimize for so you're showing up in search. At the baseline of that, delivering on your mission. So whether that is, how do I detect cancer if I have a sunspot? What does that look like? Having a how-to video on that. Or how to get support if you are a family dealing with a rare disease. Whatever your mission may be, that you're the one who shows up in search. It's the third most visited website on the planet. I just think that's crazy. And then it's YouTube reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds than any cable network. And actually, I think they just updated this stat. I think it's all networks, period. They just had their upfront in New York and announced that. So a really powerful engine, and it's about harnessing that power in order to lift up your cause and movement. The untapped potential of YouTube. So this is so one of the first organizations we started working with is Make-A-Wish America. And as we were optimizing their channel, we found a Kobe Bryant video from 2011. They're like, Amber J, it's Kobe Bryant. It's, I'm sure he gets lots of views. And he did. It was like 600,000 views when we got a hold of it. We optimized it, and in 6 months' time, it now has 2 million views, and it's right here. I can show you. Can you see that playing? Here is the Kobe Bryant video. Can you hear the sound?
I can see it playing. And
anyway, we'll send you the link. But
yes.
Here's the point, right? Is that this is library content from 2011 that in the past 6 months has reached 1.5 million additional people from a marketing perspective. And then from a monetization perspective, on YouTube, every million views equals $5,000. So this video from 2011 is worth $10,000 to Make-A-Wish. That's, I think, an aha moment. Now, mind you, this is not every video is Kobe Bryant. Not every video pops up like that. But you never know what you have in your library that can be servicing your mission. So this video is now one of the biggest converters of subscribers to the Make-A-Wish channel on a consistent basis. So you think of that as a workhorse. It's constantly doing your marketing for you. And this is the funnel that we talk about on moving specifically millennials into what we call your donor retention program on YouTube. Yeah, I made that up. But the good news is great. Somebody watches your video. They came in from any way, shape, or form, and they're donating with their eyeballs. So if you are monetizing your videos, which I'll explain how you monetize your videos in a sec, if you're monetizing your videos, they are donating by just viewing the video and or sharing with their network. Our goal is that there is a call to action in that video, not just you watch the video and then they get picked up in the YouTube algorithm and they go away. Our goal is to keep viewers engaged on your channel, watching more content that drives them into ultimately becoming a subscriber. And if you think of the subscriber button on YouTube being your email list, right? That is the new email donor retention, right? So driving them into the subscribe button, because what happens once they become a subscriber, every time you upload a video, they are notified in their email digest. So as a YouTube user, you are given, you're notified of all your subscriptions when anybody uploads a video. So this is a behavior that millennials, YouTube users and subscribers are used to. You are part of a flow and a behavior they're already doing, and you're communicating with them through storytelling, telling your story in a consistent, ongoing way. And if you think of like, if in marketing, they say it takes 5 to 7 touch points before someone converts, here is a behavior they're already doing and a behavior you're already doing that is ongoing touch points, not from your email list, and that may come from other areas, but is another area to convert them into becoming a long-time volunteer, advocate, or donor. So this is how monetization works. If you don't know, you're like, Amber J, how do you make money on YouTube? Well, the first is you upload a video, you turn on monetization in the back, and there are many controls, kind of levers. If you have corporate partners and you don't want a category, you can take that out. You monetize the video. People watch the video. As you saw in the Kobe Bryant video, there is an overlay. There's either a pre-roll or a display ad. That those views then turn into ad revenue that then is shared through YouTube. In addition, there used to be a donation button. Now there are donation cards, which I'll show you a little in a hot second. Here are some YouTubers like Jenna Marbles and PewDiePie who are making millions of dollars on YouTube. I'm certainly not saying you're making millions of dollars out of the gate. These folks have been working at it a long time, but there is a lot of earning potential on YouTube. So here are the 3 buckets. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. Here are the 3 buckets of revenue on YouTube. 1, views, which we just talked about. 2 is the donation cards. And 3 is brand campaigns. So, when you become a influencer in your own right, a channel that has, I would say, over 50,000 subscribers, you can start to do and deliver on direct brand deals. So it can become a value add or a line item in your corporate partnerships. But one of the kind of aha moments that I hadn't expected was last summer we were working with Make-A-Wish on the Macy's Believe campaign. And what we noticed was at that point we had grown Make-A-Wish's YouTube channel to 30,000 subscribers, and Macy's only had 15,000 subscribers. So we made the strategic decision to launch the Macy's Believe campaign videos on the Make-A-Wish YouTube channel because there were 30,000 subscribers there. It became a value add in the partnership with Macy's. So I hadn't expected that, but it was a great value add and a great expansion of their already fruitful partnership. Here are the donation cards. So this was launched by YouTube in January, and over our relationship with them, there used to be a donation button, and it wasn't converting really, because YouTube as a platform are really driven by influencers. They're driven by action of these mega influencers who have this direct relationship, this one-to-one relationship with the audience, and they can so basically sell direct to consumers. So by being able to leverage those partnerships, putting this donation card, and anybody can activate a donation card on a video, it can drive directly into your cause. So Teen Cancer America here is a donation card. They have it not only on their channel, but when you're running a promotional campaign with whether it be a celebrity or a YouTuber or any influencer, that they have the cards as a call to action to derive direct donations to you. So these influencer collaborations, so YouTube is built on collaborations. That's how these people became influencers on the platform. They partnered with each other. They cross-pollinated their audiences, and they can cross-pollinate your audience as well. The interesting thing that's happening right now, and we find ourselves spending a lot of time doing, is matchmaking the influencers. So now they've built these huge media companies. They have direct relationships with consumer and selling direct to consumer. And they're now looking at how they're going to give back in the world. They're looking to partner with organizations that align with their values, things that they care about. And they don't know who those are quite yet. And they're getting approached in many ways. So one of the things that is evolving is how to work with influencers in an impactful way. Here's 2 tips. One is, if you are working with an influencer, have a very specific ask. Our ultimate goal is to drive subscribers to your YouTube channel. So they would put a subscribe annotation on their video to your YouTube channel. And the second is this donation card, right? Making sure that they're driving donations from the video that they're creating for you. These can be insanely effective. One of the more kind of famous ones of recent day is Tyler Oakley. It supports the Trevor Project. I think they raised over $500,000 in their last outing. So, it's making sure that you're aligned with an influencer who, cares about what you're up to. Then there won't be a fee involved because they are used to being paid. So looking for that alignment. And then that you're able to use it not just for that one-off moment, but convert it for the long term. Here is an example of, in fact, I'll send this as a link. The Smosh is a comedy duo of guys. They partnered with Do Something on a Text Baby. And the kind of point of this video is to see, it's not a PSA by any means. It's pretty disruptive content, but this is the content that resonates with their audience. And for this video alone, I think it's now at 2.5 million views. Like it created a lot of awareness and a lot of engagement for that campaign. So here are some tips and tricks, the goals in commanding your audience. That's our goal. So we're going to start off with John O. Smith. He's the head of digital for Make-A-Wish. And let me turn this on. How are you optimizing your YouTube channel?
Folks, I'm going to apologize for the issue with the sound on the videos. So sorry, we'll include the links in the email that I send you later today with the slides and the recording. Again, sorry, and sorry, Amber J. I didn't mean to, knock your knees out from under you, but it seems like that's not working well.
Okay, so you can't hear that video?
We could not hear it before, so.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
Sorry. Yeah, it's great. It's like, sorry about that.
Well, what I think is important to actually hear in that video is, John O is a very straight shooter, and he's frank in that he didn't expect to gain a lot from optimizing their YouTube channel, and was blown away on the impact that it had in the overall strategy and awareness that they were having in YouTube and in their YouTube strategy. So it was an aha moment for him. And the cool part about YouTube is, it takes a couple of months to get in the rhythm of it. And I call it like eating your vegetables. Like, it's like you got to remember to eat your vegetables. But over time, you feel great. And when you have a success on YouTube, kind of everybody jumps on the bandwagon of it. And I've seen entire organizations kind of shift their entire strategy to YouTube because it's so impactful on their revenue and on their awareness and who they're looking to target. Because that's where the people they're looking to reach live and are engaging. So there's an opportunity to double down there. So here is, just some basic updates that you can do to your YouTube channel. So Sarah Silverman was a client of ours. If you look before, it does not look like her channel is even her, right? So you want to make sure that you have your branding represented across your cover art, that it looks like you, that it represents you, that your about has all your links in it, that you have all your social, that you have your calls to action. And the good news is you can link off of YouTube to your donation platform, whatever that is. And a question for kind of everybody: are you registered in the YouTube non-for-profit program? I mean, that's kind of step one, because that gives you access to those additional tools. So here is Make-A-Wish's before. If you look at February 26, 2015, it has their branding. It's fine. But here's the more optimized version, right? Having whatever campaign you're running, the call to action, at that time it's the donate button, your subscribers, all your chapters, creating playlists, customized thumbnails. These are all key in directing people your way and making sure they know what to do once they get there. Some of the, here's just a year later kind of report in the redesign of the channel page. It's probably already things you're already doing that are not in rotation of. And it's creating that almost like programming a television network, if you think of that. The goal is, if you remember the funnel, bring them in and then convert them into an ongoing participant. Our goal is, anyone's goal, the goal is to keep, YouTube's goal is to keep you on YouTube. Your goal is to keep that person on your channel engaged in your story, in your cause, and move to action, to whatever that action may be. Donation, volunteer, sign a petition, whatever that may be. So here is cars. Get in the driver's seat. These are your 4 rules to walk away from. So calls to action. We talked about calls to action. You have to ask for it, and people may actually do it. So during the video, you want annotations that say subscribe. You want an annotation that says donate. You want your cards to say donate and for more information, and to have playlists that drive people into a deeper engagement, or what we call lean back programming. So always have some sort of call to action. You can get fancy with this over time, but literally this is something you can do right now, today, that will get people going. The second is annotation. So I talked about annotation. So these are where you can put the calls to action. It can be where you put your text to donate. It can be your click through to donate on your site. But those are the things that pop up in the video. A lot of people like to be precious about them and not block the beautiful images. But the goal of the annotation, in my opinion, is to kind of wake people up and say, okay, now you need to do something. Take an action. So those are clickable annotations are the key. 3, replying to comments. So remember we talked about at the beginning that, YouTube is a social network just like Facebook and Twitter or any of the other social platforms. So it is an opportunity to engage and have a two-way conversation with the people who are engaged and interested in what you're doing. And then 4th, obviously, search optimization. You need to show up in search or you don't exist, right? The people who are looking for you can't find you. That's a problem. The great news about YouTube is it's across every platform. So it's not like you have to reformat your videos or reformat for another platform. And now that so much of the traffic, I want to say 75% of traffic is on mobile now, this is key. You definitely have to be across all platforms. So that's the whole shebang. Here's how to contact me, and I'm very interested in what your questions are.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't on mute all this time, but I'm glad I wasn't yelling. So Amber J, thank you for this. We do have questions, so I just wanted to point out, first of all, to all of you who joined us today, Amber J's contact information. Could you go back to that slide, please? There you go. So she's Amber J at goodamplified.com. You can shoot her an email there if you'd like to, send her something specifically. Obviously, the questions that are here in the chat, since we're sharing a screen, you could stop sharing your screen if you want, and then that wouldn't be then we can. We could also have questions asked anonymously. Sometimes people don't want to be the person to raise their hands. Okay. Thank you. But I do have a couple of questions that came up during your presentation. So first question, I'll go in chronological order. Amber J., how do you turn on monetization on YouTube? So I guess specifically, what steps would one have to take?
Sure. So it's you on your back end, when you're uploading a video, you have the option, there's like a dollar sign. You click on the dollar sign. What you have to do is sign up for an AdSense account. So you'll have a place where they will verify your banking accounts, where they will send you money. And then once that's verified, you can monetize any video just by clicking that dollar sign. And then, there's like a more detailed breakdown. You can go in the kind of expert screen and click through on any kind of limitations. What you should note out of the gate, and this is usually everybody's concern, the auto set on YouTube is no racy content. So there is no alcohol or tobacco or pornography or anything that's kind of racy. That's not on the table. You have to actually opt into that if that's something you want to run on your channel. And then you can click categories. So automotive or healthcare or, health and beauty, or, so that, say you have a partnership with Air Canada, that you don't have United running over your videos while you're in that partnership.
Oh, perfect.
Just
yeah.
note, yeah, and then just note every time you limit that, that's one less opportunity to bring in revenue. That being said, I spaced out on what I was going to tell you. Yes. So just so everybody's aware, the run of site, when I give you that stat of 1 million views equals $5,000, that is a baseline average of YouTube run of site. So, if you start to shut down categories and stuff, that could be less. However, the CPM for your specific category could be much, much higher also. And when you get into owning your own, becoming your own influencer in your own right, when you have a lot of subscribers on your channel, those CPMs go up. So that's really a minimum baseline.
Amber J., there's another question, and I just saw a couple more pop up in the chat tool. So thank you for answering that question. So it sounds like step one, what everybody needs to do, the first step is to get registered on YouTube for not for profit. And you need to set up, Google has an AdSense account, and you need to have that in order to move any further into that role, right? Those are the first steps?
Correct. Into monetizing. You just need to set up an AdSense account.
That's right. And that's just to monetize. So you can set up an account. You can set up your YouTube channel at no charge. You just set it up. I have one. There's a Top Nonprofits YouTube channel. And you can actually, one of the cool things or easy ways to populate the content right away is to get content from others and create playlists. And I think that's something I learned from watching Amber J in a video conference about a year ago. But, because we don't all have the resources to create our own videos, and we don't have, that would be a whole nother job. But you can curate. So, go ahead.
Well, I saw that pop up in the chat. So everybody actually has tons and tons of content. And the one thing that I encourage people to kind of move beyond is being perfect or being, fancy on YouTube. YouTube is a platform of authenticity. So really having a iPhone video is just as effective as a very fancy PSA. So, when we're talking to various organizations, a lot of organizations are like, we don't have any video, we're not making video. But when we talk about it and break it down, they have tons of video opportunities and or pipelines of content. So one of the organizations is Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, right? They so we were talking, and they're like, we don't have any content. And I said, well, you grant to different organizations. How many did you grant to this year? And they're like, 100 or something like that. And I was like, so as part of your grant, can each one of those, or one of those grantees send you a minute video of where your money went to? That's perfect content of delivering on your mission. And so they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that, right? As well as their PSAs and their galas. Well, they also have partnerships with influencers. They had an influencer video come out. And exactly to your point, curating like-minded videos or videos that are from friends or from events that you can curate around certain topics. That doesn't necessarily drive into your monetization, but it does create content, and content flow is the holistic programming of your channel. And as you're building out your content strategy, and I'll just give you the content strategy from YouTube and what we subscribe to, and when we partner with anybody, this is the content strategy is hero, hub, and hygiene. So hero, think of that as your big campaign. Maybe it's your giving season campaign. Maybe it's around your gala. Maybe there's a month, it's autism month or whatever that may be. So say that's your hero content, and that you probably invest marketing dollars around that or money towards content during that time. That's your hero. Your hub content is that ongoing content of storytelling, whether it's people, their experience in what they're doing. It could be staff and why they do what they do. It could be on the ground in Africa, or if that's what you do. Those minute-long iPhone videos. This is the ongoing rhythm where you create consistency, and that's usually targeted around your mission, delivering on your mission, how you've succeeded in what you're out doing in the world. And then the third bucket is hygiene, which I know sounds weird, but it's like how-to videos, right? The internet is built on how-to videos. So it's, how to donate, how to detect skin cancer, how to eat in order to reverse the effects of autism. I don't know. I'm making stuff up, obviously. But you think about, it is the second largest search engine on the planet. What are people searching for who would be in and around your cause, your mission? And then create how-to videos. These are the workhorses. So we are working with the Washington Ballet. Their number one video was how to make a ballet bun, how to put your hair up in a bun. And we program that the next video they watch is the Nutcracker. And then the next video they watch is Brishnikov. And then the next video they watch is a rehearsal. So, it doesn't matter how they come in. It's once they're there, where are they going? And how are you pushing them through an experience that can convert them? The goal is to convert them.
Just to give everybody an example, there was also a question for a specific case study or example. And since Amber J just brought up this one, I'm going to see if we can share it. The ballet bun, okay, the hair bun.
Mhm.
Because it's not like it's a highly produced video. And that was another question. We don't have money or budget for highly produced videos. And to Amber J's point, you can do a lot with an iPhone. You can also, I have found you can find some great work freelancers too, to do things really creative animation stuff on Fiverr.com. That's my little secret. So very cost conscious way to get things done. But here, you should be able to see the video. Is this playing?
Well, see, they've taken it to the next level at this point.
Washington School of Ballet, we like our students.
I'm not hearing. Oh.
Peyton, how old are you? 8 years old. And what level are you in ballet? Great. Peyton has lovely long hair, and we're going to use her today because show you the basics. So first thing you want to do is brush the hair up nice and neat, like this, like our bun. Right here at the back of the crown. So when they do exercises, the back of the head is on the floor. But also when they sit up with these beautiful tall backs and the lovely necks, it accentuates the line of the back. So as you pull the hair up, you want to make it nice and smooth like this.
So for the sake of not watching the whole 5 minutes, but you get the point. That is really adorable. Here's this adorable little girl who's into ballet, and you're taking through the steps. And to Amber J's point, people think about the way people are searching for things that would have an affinity to your cause, and think of things in that respect. It's really taking a different perspective. So I hope that makes some sense for the person who had asked the question about video skills and expenses. We also had a quick question from somebody about what does CPN mean, and I believe that's CPM, which would be cost per thousand, which Amber J, you mentioned with regard to bidding on, I guess, keywords, right?
Well, so if you're running a ad campaign,
Mm-hmm.
like the cost per thousand on a typical run a site on YouTube is anywhere between $4 and $7. But when you become, a influencer in your own right, those numbers go up to $20 CPMs, $40 CPMs. And as you can imagine, then so does your revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what that stands for. You're welcome. I saw that. Thank you. The Washington School Ballet Hair Bun Technique, that video, just so you know, that's had like almost 9,000 views. They have over 1,000 subscribers. That had to be a nice little gain in terms of exposure. And like you said, or as Amber J had mentioned, it's kind of developing people, and you're pulling them into your group.
Well, it's discovering that you have this kind of, they would never have thought of that. Like that was going to be the video that's going to pull people into their experience. And same with that Kobe Bryant video from 2011. You never know what you have in your library that could be sitting there doing some of this work for you, and let the bots do the work for you.
Let YouTube let that do the heavy lifting for you. And you don't need to have Kobe Bryant. I mean, obviously, we don't have access. Right. We don't all have access to Kobe Bryants of the world, which leads me to another question that came up, which I would love to hear your suggestions. I'm sure you have some fabulous ones about it. But an organization, let's say there's an organization with hypothetically 16 counties in southwestern Wisconsin, just hypothetically. And it's perhaps, let's hypothetically say it's a food bank. So this is not an organization that necessarily has people who would be interested throughout the world, right? So there's not a a large national or international target for them. In what ways could they harness the power, the heavy lifting of YouTube?
Well, it's the same. I mean, it's the same search functionality. And, you know, the good news about Google and YouTube is you can localize. So if you are doing any kind of marketing campaigns, you can target that area. And you know, it's the same thing. People are going to search that targeted area. What you want to be is the number one resource that pops up for food banks when people are searching in that area. So it's all about optimizing your videos so that it's targeted. And really, you can do this by just typing in the search bar. So it gives you the top suggested searches when you start typing in. So take notice of that, integrate that into your titling, into your description. The first 160 characters of your description are what get picked up by the bot. So make sure that those words that, you know, your area, where you're targeted, what your mission is in those first 160 characters.
So it makes some sense. I'm sure a lot of you who are on this call who are in development, you've got your constituent, you know, you've got your profiles, right? And so you would similarly put together profiles for people who are searching for information, or people who could find you on YouTube, and kind of think about what words they might be using that would connect them to you. Is sort of, so I would suggest making lists, getting it on paper, talking to the, you know, getting all the heads together, and sort of putting all of your heads together to get those lists and get organized about it, to pull together a good strategy. Amber J, one more thing before we go. There's a technical question that I did want to hear your answer to as well. I think it's kind of technical. How does YouTube compare to Vimeo, which I never use Vimeo for anything, so I'm probably bad. So I can't answer that.
Well, so Vimeo has been what I feel, I mean, in the digital space, where artists go to post. I mean, they are becoming more consumer facing, but they're just not the search engine titan that YouTube is. And so I would always 100% suggest building on YouTube. Look, I say build on YouTube, own your audience. It's just like in content, right? It's no different than a content creator or a network, television or a digital network. If you own your audience, you have power. And that audience then converts to other platforms. So why not be on YouTube, the number one video platform where millennials are getting their content? Why not fish where the fish are swimming? Gather them together. You can take them anywhere after that. I don't care, right? Like, you can convert them anywhere. And in fact, let me say one thing about Facebook also. But to build your audience is power. Period. Like, that's owning that audience, building that audience, build that audience on the platform that has the most likelihood where you can hook the most fish. That's my YouTube pitch. I know that Facebook video is very sexy and very exciting because you're getting so many views. At least the issue we've seen to date is it's not converting. I would love to see if anybody has any experiences otherwise. And right now you can't monetize on Facebook. We are also working with Facebook to figure out like what that'll look like for nonprofits. But I highly recommend, obviously you should always upload natively to Facebook in order to get the most juice from Facebook. But I always put the link to YouTube and or do a 15-second video on Facebook that drives to your YouTube channel so you can capture them and you can monetize them. And you can then convert them into your donor retention program as a subscriber. That is my tip and trick for leveraging the the Facebook juice into your YouTube strategy.
Well, I think here we are at the top of the hour, and we do have to bring this to a close, but there's just been so much you've covered. Thank you so much. You've brought up a lot of good, the audience has had some incredible, wonderful questions. Thank you all for submitting them. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. You will get an email probably this evening, if not this evening, on Monday, with the recording and contact information. Please feel free to contact Amber J directly. Not this weekend, though. I know you've got a big weekend planned. So, but on Monday, there's a big party. There's a party at Amber J's. So
come on over.
In Los Angeles, go on over. Say hi to her little chihuahua. And you guys, thank you all so much. Before we close, I want to say thank you all very much for joining us. And thank you. I hope you can put this to good use at your organization. Feel free to contact me. If you could fill out the survey that pops up when you close out, that would be great, because we do want to know what you're looking to learn more about. And you will get an email with all of the contact information and the recording. And finally, I'm just going to, at that, I will close and I will send it. I will ask Amber J to say her final word. And thank you so much.
Well, I'm just so grateful, Amy, for you allowing me this platform to share YouTube. As you can tell, I'm a big advocate, and I think it can absolutely shift an organization, and the time is now, right? It just doesn't happen overnight, and so to start putting effort and a little resource towards YouTube will absolutely produce dividends over time, and the time is now. It's not a nice to have, it's a must have. It is the biggest search engine on the planet, and you need to bubble up and search, and we want you to be found. We want you to service your mission and your mission to flourish. And, Good Amplified is here to help be your experts and your back end to run that, so you can go off and save the world in whatever way that you're bettering the planet. And thank you for what you're doing. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all. With that, have a wonderful weekend. Take care. See you on YouTube.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.